The gunshot shattered the quiet Texas morning like a hammer through glass. I froze. My heart slammed so hard in my chest I could hear it thudding in my ears. My eyes locked on her, Karen. She stumbled back, hands raised, her face a twisted mask of shock. Blood bloomed across her shoulder like red ink spilled on canvas.
Fort à second, time amnistie.
Call 911. I shouted, my voice finally breaking free as I sprinted toward the gate. Maggie, my wife, was already there, barefoot, trembling, clutching her phone to her ear. "There's been a shooting," she screamed. She was trespassing, oh my God. And there she was. Karen.
Kocht redonded again.
This time, climbing over our fence with a burlap sack slung over her shoulder, stuffed full of stolen eggs, garden tools, maybe some vegetables. Whatever she could grab before I caught her. But this time, I had the shotgun. The shot. It wasn't meant to hit her. I fired it wild, a warning, a desperate bid to scare her off. But it hit.
Meb bad luck. Meb badem. Meb something deeper.
I don't even know anymore. She sat slumped against the wooden post, pale, her lips trembling, blood soaking through her sleeve. She stared at me, not afraid.
No, not Karen.
She was furious. All I could think was, how the hell did it come to this? How does a woman, a self-proclaimed protector of community values, end up bleeding on my land, stealing from my farm? And that's when I heard it. Sirens, fast and close, already screaming down the road. But to understand how we got here, I have to take you back, 6 months earlier, to where this all began. Not with a gunshot, but with a dream. A dream about peace, simplicity, and tomatoes. After years of traffic jams, barking dogs, and neighbors who treated blinds like surveillance gear, Maggie and I finally said goodbye to suburbia. We sold the house, packed every last box, and moved to a slice of land just outside Cottonwood Springs.
Fourtinacre of Texas soil. No achat. No nosy neighbor.
Just sky, trees, and a chance to breathe.
We built the house ourselves.
Took 6 months. Hammered every nail.
Raised chickens.
Planted tomatoes, kale, zucchini, even tried strawberries, though the sun cooked those right out of the soil.
He fixed up the whole red barn out back with mayonnaise. Blister, sweat, busted knuckle.
But it felt good. For once, something was ours. And then, the emails started. To the owner of 2175 Willowbend Trail, you are in violation of community standard codes. What community? We weren't even part of one. That was the whole damn point. Turns out, the HOA from the subdivision next door, Cottonwood Preserve, full of manicured lawns and iron gates, claimed visual jurisdiction. Said our barn, visible from their cul-de-sac, didn't meet their standards. And leading the charge? Karen. Mid-50s.
Ironed polo shirts.
Clipboard always in hand. Permanent scowl, like someone had stolen joy from her decades ago. She marched onto our land the first week. No knock. No hello. Just strutted right up to the barn and tapped the rusted siding with her pen like she was writing us a ticket. "You'll need to paint this," she snapped. "Only forest green or white is allowed within visible lines of our community." I stood there, stunned. Maggie didn't flinch. "Ma'am, this is private property. We're not under your HOA." Karen sniffed, adjusting her collar like the scent of earth offended her. "If it affects our property values, it's our business." And just like that, the line was drawn. That was the moment everything changed. From that moment on, it was war. A quiet, creeping war with no uniforms and no rules, just petty moves, one after the other.
Karen started small.
She called animal control about our chickens, claiming the roosters crowing was emotional harassment. We laughed it off at first, figured she'd get bored. But she didn't. Then came the letters. Stuffed in our mailbox, each one stamped compliance notice. Each with grainy photos taken from behind our tree line. She was watching us.
Documenting US.
Every day. The sheriff's department shrugged when we reported it. If she's not crossing the property line, there's not much we can do. Their advice? Try to keep the peace. Right. Then one morning, I stepped outside and froze. The barn was tagged, sloppy white spray paint across the siding, "Trash the trash." No cameras back there. No proof. But we both knew who did it. And from there, things escalated. Slowly. Quietly.
A missing buquet. A spade.
A dozen eggs vanished from the nesting box. Maggie thought maybe it was animals, until she caught Karen on camera. Under moonlight, poking around in our coop like a raccoon with a vendetta. The footage was blurry, but her silhouette was unmistakable. We took it to the sheriff's office again. Another shrug.
Can't confirm identity.
So I took matters into my own hands.
We read motion sans sort.
Posted no trespassing signs every 30 feet. Hung trail cams around the fence line.
Stille, chicam.
One morning, our entire tomato crop was gone. Just gone.
Every vine stripped.
A single muddy footprint near the edge of the garden bed.
Maggie cried at night. She started sleeping with the lights on. He started sleeping with the shotgun.
And then came the morning everything truly changed. The sun hadn't even risen yet. The sky was still the color of bruised gold when the alarm on the barn blared. I jumped up, heart hammering, shotgun in hand. I bolted through the dew-wet grass. And there she was, Karen, hauling that same burlap sack, full and heavy, dragging it toward the fence. I yelled, "Get off my property." She didn't stop. She reached into her jacket for something, I didn't know what. A phone? Pepper spray? A weapon? I didn't wait to find out. I fired. Not at her. At the air. A warning. But the blast went wide, or maybe it didn't. She staggered. Fell. Blood bloomed across her arm.
Maggie screamed.
And in that frozen second I knew, we were past the point of no return.
The paramedic got there fast.
Too fast, like they were already nearby. Karen was propped against a fence post, clutching her arm, face twisted not in pain, but in rage. "I want him arrested," she hissed as they lifted her onto the gurney. "He tried to kill me." I tried to speak. Explain. But the deputy raised his hand. "Sir, we need you to step back." Maggie's voice cracked as she pleaded, it was an accident. She was trespassing. Look at the signs. Look at the cameras. The deputy nodded slowly, scanning the scene, the sack of stolen goods, the torn fence, the blinking red light of the barn camera. "You got this on footage?" "Yeah," I said, voice shaking.
Everything. Every second.
But even as I said it, my gut twisted. What if the footage didn't show the whole truth? What if she twisted the story, played the victim just right?
What if he lost everything?
They took my shotgun. Said it was evidence. Took our statements.
Let me stay, for now.
But that night, I couldn't sleep. For the first time since we'd moved in, the land felt cold. Like it no longer wanted us there. And it only got worse from there. We didn't get back from the sheriff's station until past midnight. The stars were out, cold and bright like a sky full of watching eyes. When we pulled into the driveway, something felt off.
The barn door was swinging open.
I always locked it. Always. I grabbed the flashlight, my stomach tight. The inside looked undisturbed, except for one thing. In the far corner, near the feed sacks, something wasn't right. A patch of floor had been disturbed. I crouched down and brushed the dirt aside. There was a hole. Not deep, but freshly dug. At first, I thought maybe Karen had hidden something.
Or worse, buried something. He leaned in closer.
The scent hit me, oil, gas, damp wood. Something had been here. Something someone didn't want found. 2 weeks passed. No charges. No news.
Just silence.
We heard whispers through town. Karen was telling her HOA friends that she'd been hunted by the unhinged farm couple. She painted herself as the victim. I wanted to scream, but we stayed quiet. Then came the letter. Official. Courier delivered.
No return address.
I opened it slowly. Inside was a notice. Karen, through the HMA's lawyer, was suing us. $350,000. The charges?
Civil trespass. Int tout aux armes. Émotionnel distre.
And get this, endangerment of community welfare. Maggie sank onto the porch bench. This is a joke, right?
He shook my head.
She's trying to ruin us. Why? She whispered. Why not just leave us alone? Before I could answer, we heard it snap. A twig.
Behind the house. He grabbed the flashlight, attuding.
The beam swept across the back field. Movement. 2 figures. Not 1, 2. They disappeared into the trees like shadows. I ran toward the fence. At the edge, a trail of cracked eggs led through the grass.
Maggie screamed.
By the time I reached the spot, they were gone, but they'd left something behind. A note. Taped to the chicken coop. Big red letters. Next time, it won't just be EGGS. We didn't sleep that night. Do you think it was Karen? Maggie kept asking. But I didn't answer. Deep down, I didn't think it was just her anymore. Someone else was involved. Someone who didn't care about fences, lawsuits, or cameras. The next day, I went back to the barn and tore up the floorboards. Beneath them, I found a plastic case.
Inside, blueprint, maps, and a memory card. That is when the lights cut out.
Everything went black.
House.
Barn.
Silence.
Jack.
Maggie screamed. He ran inside.
She was pointing out the window.
A man stood just beyond the driveway. Hoodie.
Still. Watching. Then, without a word, he turned and disappeared into the trees.
He called the sheriff.
They said someone would come in the morning. I wasn't waiting.
He fired up the generator, got the power back, and plugged in the memory card. Phil loaded. Blueprint of Orland. Satellite maps.
Notes. Coordinates marked near the creek. Drone footage, close-ups of the barn, the chicken coop, even our bedroom window. Maggie covered her mouth.
What is this?
I stared at the screen.
Col de l'Over.
This isn't about Karen. She was just the beginning. We weren't just being harassed. We were being watched. And whoever they were, they'd been here long before the first egg went missing. I didn't sleep that night. At dawn, I drove straight into Cottonwood Springs, the case and memory card in the passenger seat. Maggie didn't want me going alone, but I told her to stay back, lock every door, keep the shotgun close. At the sheriff's station, I asked for Deputy Morales, the only one who'd taken us seriously after the shooting. Mid-30s, sharp eyes, no tolerance for BS. His dad used to fish by the same creek that cut through our land. I handed him the case. Something's wrong, I said. This isn't just about Karen.
He plugged in the memory card.
The color drained from his face. Blueprints. Surveillance logs.
Timestamp.
Coordinates. He leaned in and pointed. That mark? That's the county gas line. My mouth went dry. Who marked it? Morales didn't answer right away. These look like tunnel schematics. Karen's been sneaking onto our land for months, I said. She was either hiding this, or looking for it. He nodded slowly. This could be serious.
Like, federal serious.
Then why's everyone pretending none of this is happening? I asked. She got shot, and it vanished from the news. He exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. Let me make some calls. In the meantime, keep your place locked down. Got it. I drove home, but something didn't sit right. When I pulled into the driveway, Maggie was already on the porch, an envelope in her hand.
No return address.
No stamp. Just a folded scrap of brown paper. Inside it read, "You're in over your head.
Leave before it's too late." Maggie was pale. Jacques, I'm scared.
I pulled her close. We'll be okay. But I didn't believe it. 2 days of eerie quiet followed.
No movement.
No notes. Not even Karen. Then at 3:07 a.m., we woke to the sound of cracking wood, and an orange glow lighting up our ceiling. The barn. It was on fire. I ran barefoot into the yard, Maggie right behind me. I grabbed the garden hose and sprayed blindly. The smoke choked us.
The flame were too fast, too strong. Gasoline fast. The chickens. Maggie cried out.
Too late. The coop was engulfed. When it was over, the barn was ash. My tools. Our feed. Solar batteries.
Everything gone.
I collapsed to my knees. In the smoldering ruins, under a charred beam, I found something strange. A phone. Burnt, but still intact. Right before it fizzled out, one name flashed across the cracked screen. Karen. I didn't know if it was hers, or someone wanted us to think it was. The next morning, Morales came to inspect the scene. His face was grim. He kicked at the scorched dirt, then looked at me. There's something I didn't tell you. My stomach clenched. The memory card you gave me, there were fingerprints on it. They match a man named Colin Riggs. Used to work for a pipeline company that got shut down for illegal drilling. What does that have to do with us? Maggie asked. Morales pointed toward the ruins. We think your barn sat right on one of his routes. He disappeared last year. The feds think he went rogue. You think Karen was working with him? I asked.
Moral hésita-t-elle.
Maybe. Or maybe she found what he left behind and tried to blackmail him. Or warn you off. Maggie looked shaken. So the lawsuit, the eggs, she was trying to scare us away? Could be, Morales said. But when you start digging up secrets, you don't just make enemies, you make scared ones. His radio crackled. Unit 3, we've got a 10 to 55.
Abandonnée de véhicule.
Matches suspect Colin Riggs.
Location, East Ridge Creek. Moral N localize.
The creek ran through my property. He clicked the mic. This is Morales. I'm 5 minutes out. Then he turned to me.
You coming?
I didn't hesitate. Maggie grabbed my arm.
Be careful.
I nodded.
We drove through the woods, the truck rattling over the narrow trail. East Ridge Creek was a dead zone. No cell service, no neighbor. Just the key hum of trees and the bad feeling in my gut.
We reached the clearing. There it was. A rusted pickup with the hood popped.
A body lay face down next to it.
Morales drew his weapon. I followed. He flipped the body with his boot. It wasn't Riggs. Younger. Greasy. On his wrist, an HOA crew tag. Morales looked at me, his voice low.
This is getting out of control.
And then, gunfire.
A single shot cracked through the trees like a whip.
We dropped behind the truck. Someone was out there. Watching. Waiting.
Another shot tore through the trees, closer this time.
Morales grabbed my arm and yanked me behind a stump. Stay low, he hissed. I didn't argue.
Somewhere beyond the tree line, we heard movement, leaf rustling, fast.
30 yards, maybe less. Morales peeked over the truck hood, weapon raised. Back me up, he whispered. But don't play hero. He slipped left, I went right, heart pounding, boots crunching over brush. The trees closed in, thick and wild. I couldn't see him anymore, only heard him shout, "Drop it! Hands where I can see!" Then a grunt. A thud. A crash. I sprinted toward the noise. Flashlight bobbing wildly. Near the creek bank, I found them, Morales and a man, locked in a brutal struggle. The guy was wild-eyed, long-haired, covered in dirt and grease.
Rig.
Morales shouted. Riggs shoved him back and made a run for it, splashing into the shallows.
He raised the flashlight.
Stop. He didn't. Instead, he turned, gun in hand. I dove behind a tree as the pistol cracked. Bark exploded above my head. Morales returned fire. 2 quick shots. Riggs dropped like a rag doll into the water.
Silence.
Just the creek gurgling around his body. Morales checked his pulse.
Alive.
Barely. He looked up at me.
Call it in. He knows everything.
2 hours later, the woods swarmed with law enforcement. Locals, feds, men in black jackets who said nothing but took over everything. They loaded Riggs onto a stretcher, handcuffed, unconscious. One of the agents, a tall woman with silver hair and cold eyes, approached me. "Jack Dalton?" she asked. I nodded.
You found the memory card.
Yes. She handed me a plain card.
No name.
Just a number.
If anything else happens, call this.
Then she paused.
Don't dig any deeper.
It's not just eggs and garden tools anymore. And just like that, she was gone. By the time I got home, dawn was brushing orange across the sky. Maggie was waiting on the porch, the shotgun resting across her lap. I told her everything.
Rig. The tunnel.
The federal agents. She listened, pale and quiet. And then she asked, "What about Karen?" I didn't know. I stared out at the trees. She's involved. Somehow. Maggie looked down. What if she was trying to stop it?
I shook my head.
She had a gun pulled on us. She sued us. But I stopped. A part of me wasn't so sure anymore. The next morning, another letter appeared, slipped under our gate.
No enveloppe.
Just 5 words, handwritten. You should have left.
It's not over. Maggie s'en shook as she read it.
And then, we heard it. A knock. Not at the door.
From underground.
A slow, steady knock 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 beneath the tomato beds, near the rusted water pump. I grabbed the flashlight and shotgun.
Call moral, he told Maggie. And what verra pan, don't follow me.
I ran. The soil around the pump was soft, like it had been disturbed.
I found a métal entre le burier benéat de grâce. I pullait hard.
A trapdoor creaked open.
Below, darkens.
A tunnel. I climbed down. 20 feet deep, it leveled off into a narrow passage. Crates lined the walls.
All electronics. Radio.
Blueprints. And in the center, a chair. Karen.
Blindfolded.
Bound.
Barely breathing.
I rushed to her, tore the cloth from her face. "Jack," she whispered. "You have to go. Now." "Who did this?" I demanded. "They've been using your land. Smuggling. Storage. They threatened me. I tried to scare you off, so they wouldn't hurt me. I didn't know what else to do." "Who are they?" I asked. Her lips trembled. "He used to be on the HMA board. Not anymore. He got paid off."
Stephen Burke. The lights flickered. The concrete buzzed.
Footsteps echoed down the tunnel. Multiple sets. Karen gasped.
Et nos yeux rire.
I cut her ropes and pulled her up.
Weak, shaking.
We ran. The ladder was ahead, but before we reached it, the trapdoor slammed shut above us. Locked. Gas hissed into the tunnel.
Karen screamed.
"We're going to die."
I slammed the door.
Useless. Then, I saw a crack in the wall. I threw my shoulder into it. The dirt collapsed.
Another tunnel. I dragged Karen through it, cooking, the is growing loudé.
Then, light.
Another hatch.
I pushed it open. Stars.
Air. And Maggie, screaming my name.
We made it 20 feet before the explosion. The tunnel behind us erupted. Fire, soil, debris raining down.
The agent came.
So did Morales. Karen survived. She gave them everything. Stephen Burke, former HOA treasurer, was behind it all. He'd been siphoning fuel, wiring secret tunnels, and laundering permits through the HOA. Karen had tried, in her own twisted way, to stop him. It's been 4 weeks.
No more note. No more shadow.
But I still don't sleep much. Because the truth is, darkness doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it wears a smile, carries a clipboard, and lives just across the fence.